But all right. Whoops. I hit the wrong one. All right. So that is covered most of what happened during the week. And now we have another game 7 to talk about. We talked about game 7 that's happening. We already had the video up. Bucks, Nets. We already talked that one. So now we're talking Hawks, Sixers. That game. We're recording this on Saturday. That game 6 occurred last night. Sixers hung on. Ben Simmons did not play well. He was in foul trouble though, so I will give him that. To be fair, but Seth Curry had a good game. I think Tobias Harris still stepped up. But Hawks I think they almost came back, right? Sorry, the game was a blur to me. They almost came back, but they just kind of got cold on the last minute. So, been a back and forth series. I'll let you go first. Who do you think's winning Game 7? We all picked Philly, right? I think before.
I think we all picked Philly.
Okay.
This series has been a lot more competitive than I thought it was going to be. I think I even predicted it was probably like a gentleman's sweep.
Yeah.
I'm going to change my prediction. I know I initially picked Philly, but I think Atlanta wins Game 7. Ben Simmons, and I know that Ben Simmons is for some reason getting a lot of like unnecessary hate in my opinion, because even like Game 5 Tobias Harris did terrible. He was like 2 of 11. And all the role players were terrible in that game. Embiid and Seth Curry were the only 2 players to score in the second half of that game. But Ben Simmons is getting like 6 points on like 5 shots. Like he just doesn't feel like he's making that big of an offensive impact. Like, sure, you're getting 8 assists and all that stuff, but I feel like when he's getting paid as much as he is, and he's as big of a mismatch as he is, and there's also plenty of times where he's on the court and Embiid is not. Like I don't know. I mean, we talked about this multiple times. I think Ben Simmons should have been traded for James Harden. I still think they should trade him for his own good, because there's something mentally that's going on that has him not even attempting to score. Like I think it was 4 and 5. He had like 4 shots in the second halves combined. Like he's not even trying to, and it's just weird. I don't know. It's and also the fact, like, we made that post about his free throw percentage. He is shooting a all-time worst, like a minimum of 67 attempts in the playoffs. He is the worst free throw percentage ever in a single season or a single postseason run, at 32.8%, which is horrendous. And Doc Rivers even said in a press conference, he said, if Ben's hitting him, we can play him. But in late in games, if he's not, we just can't. Like, we can't afford them to play hack a Ben, and they send him to the free throw line, and he makes 1 of 3. It's just, I don't know. I think that it's become such an issue, and now Embiid is having to do everything. Seth Curry is having to do everything. Tobias Harris has been inconsistent in this series. And on the other side, the Hawks they don't have any expectations. They weren't even, in most people's eyes, they weren't even expected to get to this round, let alone 7 games against the Sixers. So now the fact that they're 1 game away from the conference finals, Trae Young is playing with immense confidence. I think the additions of Gallinari and Bogdanovic are really paying dividends right now. They're really hitting their stride. John Collins has done really well this year amidst all those crazy rumors and where does he fit and all this kind of stuff. He's been doing great. Clint Capella is just doing Clint Capella things. I mean, the Hawks are they're clicking on all cylinders. And I honestly think that outside of, a brief third quarter, moment where they just froze and the Sixers went on like a pretty big run, outside of that, I think they would have closed out the last game. And so I don't know. I'm more bought in the Hawks' belief in their ability to win than I am the Sixers. I mean, Doc Rivers, even the way that he's been talking about this team, he's like, I think that we're ready, but we'll see. Like, adding the "we'll see" part just makes me not confident in them. So yeah, I think the Hawks are going to win it.
Okay, so I think I'm going with Sixers. And one thing that does scare me is Bogdanovic. He got injured last game. As of right now in the Washington Post, by Charles Odom, he reported he's still uncertain. for Game 7. And I know Kevin Huerter had a really good game the other game, but once again, it's always hard to ensure that he's going to do something like that. Similarly, and I just think for the Sixers, I mean, Sixers have been the better team this series, and that's what scares me because I mean they should have won those other 2 games that they blew the leads on.
Right.
They really should have, and it's just they had epic collapses, just to say the least. So, honestly, this series should have been done sooner. But here we are, Game 7, and that's what worries me is that maybe the Sixers, it could be mentally tiring, because like man, we should already be done with this series, but we're not because so that's what I worry about. But I think that's why I'm hoping that Doc Rivers doesn't let them fall into that, and they just say, hey, we should take care of business and win Game 7. I mean, the fact that they won the last game with Ben being in major foul trouble for most of the game, I think is encouraging. And the fact that they seem to have they played more of Tyrese Maxey, and he played really well too. And I think he's got some confidence going to a key game, and they still have guys like Shake Milton that if they need to push that button and put him in. So it's tough. I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm going with the Sixers. It's just, once again, I mean, for Trae Young, I expect him to drop 30 and 10 again. But, I mean, for the most part, they haven't had any answers to Embiid. And I think even though Embiid struggled in the second half of games, and maybe that's the conditioning, maybe that's his knee, I'm thinking that, he's just going to be better for all 4 quarters this game, too. Because like we mentioned before, they really don't have an answer for Joel. And then, Tobias has some confidence too. So it'll be a really good game, but I'm going with Philly here. And I hope it's Philly just because, once again, I could be wrong. I just don't think the Hawks are a good matchup for whoever is going to win that Nets-Bucks series. But with my luck, the Hawks are going to win. And then they're going to probably make it to the finals the way that our curse works.
I didn't think they were a good matchup for Philly. I was like, oh, they're going to get destroyed.
Yeah,
Ben's going to guard Trae, all this kind of stuff. And they're winning. And so it's there's this weird feeling in my gut that, like, the Bucks beat the Nets and then the Hawks beat the Bucks. And then we get, like, the Hawks and, whoever wins that West, which would just be crazy. Which, by the way, I just want to add, and I know that I've been kind of railing Luka over the last few episodes, but if Trae Young and the Hawks make it to the conference finals, I will never hear another piece of slander from a Luka fan ever again about that trade, because I know that Luka fans love to say the Hawks lost that trade, blah, blah, blah. They made a huge mistake, but Trae Young has been fantastic for the Hawks. He's now led them, which I would agree. I think the Hawks are a better built roster, but the point still stands. Yeah. Trae Young, in his first playoff run in his career, has put them in a position where they can go to the conference finals. And we're even sitting here saying maybe they make it all the way. We don't know.
Yeah, I would agree. If anything, at least it was an even trade. I don't think.
Oh yeah, I think it was even. Lost. Win-win for both teams.
They got both teams got their guy, or got a guy that they wanted. So, alrighty. Anything else you want to add, or should we?
I think that's gonna be it from me. It's gonna be crazy. I know that out west, I don't think I've got a playoff series wrong in the West so far. The East has kind of been in shambles.
Yeah, East,
especially if the Nets now win, and I guess technically at one point I picked the Sixers, now I'm picking the Hawks, but I'll just stick with the Hawks because the more recent one. If now the Sixers win, I'll have been wrong on 3 out of the 4. 3 out of the whatever series that we've done.
I think as long as if the Bucks win, and the Sixers win, I'm good. I mean, the only one I lost was the Jazz.
I got the Heat wrong. I got the.
Oh yeah,
Knicks
I mean, in
wrong.
regards into the 4. Yeah, I got the Knicks wrong. Did I pick LA? I think I picked LA instead of the Suns. Yeah, that was dumb. That didn't work out.
Yeah, you picked the Lakers.
Good thing I didn't pick the Grizzlies over the Jazz. That didn't work out.
You almost did.
I almost did, but luckily, Donovan Mitchell saved me from that. But yeah. Anyways, so that'll wrap it up. We'll probably next video we'll do probably mid next week. Whenever we have our conference championship lineups, we'll do our predictions there. Maybe just review what happened previously because we'll get a chance to talk about there what our thoughts what happened with the Jazz Clippers series because that's one we haven't been able to go over. Hopefully, no more news occur. I mean, if more news, we'll talk about it. But hopefully, no more injuries and such. So fingers crossed for that going forward. But as per usual, if you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed listening or watching, where the heck you are, please like, comment, subscribe. And then our Instagram is almost at 1,000. It's at Shut Up and Ball Pod. It's almost at 1,000 followers. So kudos for John and all his hard work. We're almost there. We also have Facebook, Shut Up and Ball. It's the page, and then our Twitter is just at Shut Up and Ball. So I hope everyone enjoys this. I hope everyone has a nice weekend. Hope you enjoy the 2 Game 7s we had. I weirdly wish we had 3 Game 7s, but you can't have everything in life. So take that with you. But everyone enjoyed it.
Terrence Mann.
Yeah, Terrence Mann went off.